everyone. I hope you're doing well. I have two special guests with me here today. Robin O'Connell, who's the Chief Revenue Officer at Uphold, as well as Alex Disney, who's the Senior Backend Engineer at Uphold. Guys, it's great to have you both.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
So we got some exciting news about the Coil and XRP Tip Bot integration. Many folks are curious to learn about that. But before we get into those details, could you give an overview of Uphold? What's the service you provide and how folks can leverage your platform?
Sure, absolutely. So Uphold is basically a wallet and a platform where a individual or a business can easily and instantly convert, one digital asset into another. So we've got sort of this notion of anything to anything, which is different, right, from let's say an exchange, which is usually tied to different pairs, et cetera. So you literally can go, from any one of our 30 plus fiat currencies to any of our 30 cryptocurrencies. We also have support commodities, and really you can see where we can take this in terms of digital assets. Any digital asset should be easily and instantly able to convert from one to the other. We also, with this platform, it's a global platform. We serve, we've got about 2.4 million users at this point across 180 different countries. We're connected to, I think, 35 to the banking system in 35 different countries, Visa, MasterCard, and we're constantly adding, easier ways for consumers to load funds on and to move funds off. So that's really what it is at its core. And then one of the things that I think is key to this conversation is an approach that Uphold had from the get-go, which is this sort of openness approach. And this is really through our Uphold open API that we have, where any business can really come to us and effectively connect into the Uphold platform. We realized early on that we can't possibly address, every single use case across every single geography. And so we have a number of different companies that are looking to use us. Why? Because, we're regulated in places where you need fintech regulation. We're connected to banking systems. We have this sort of sophisticated system that allows for an instant conversion from one digital asset to another. And really that's sort of the key element of it. And what it does ultimately is it provides a really slick payment system. Okay, so we work with a lot of companies that just need an easy way to get sort of in and out of different currencies or to convert from one to the next.
Got it. And I'm a fan of Uphold. I've leveraged the platform to purchase cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, XRP, and so forth. And I think your interface is very user-friendly, easy to use. So full disclosure, I am a fan of Uphold.
Thank you.
And, I think many of us were excited to hear the news of Coil integration, which, of course, helps content developers or publishers to monetize their content with micropayments. So can you talk about how did the Coil relationship come about and the whole integration process?
Sure. So I mentioned the Uphold Connect API and how we work with other businesses and basically provide our functionality or try to meld or take our functionality and apply it to other situations. One of the areas where we're really useful is when a company like Coil, like Brave, that basically is utilizing a utility token or cryptocurrency, and they're using that within the ecosystem to create micropayments. At the end of the day, all of those systems are also going to need some sort of system to instantly convert that digital asset into any other digital asset, right? So think of all of the projects, all of the crypto projects that have come about over the last several years, and each one is trying to solve a different problem, and they're solving that problem through sort of the benefits of cryptocurrencies and utility tokens. But if any of those ecosystems really start to become mass market, it sort of breaks the chain. Not everything can remain in crypto, at least not now, right?
Sure.
So there has to be that, whatever, the crossing of the chasm or the connection, the bridge between cryptocurrency and how, where money is today, which is in banks and fiat currency. And as soon as you make that connection, there's a lot of stuff there that involves regulatory compliance, KYC, bank connectivity, et cetera, and that's the piece that we bring to the party. And so, simply put, you take something like Coil, which is a way for payments to pass between somebody who's viewing content and then the content provider. This is a really high level explanation. I'll get Alex to explain it the more sophisticated way. But the content provider at the end of the day, wants to get their output, if you will, of value in whatever they want. Maybe they do want it in Bitcoin or XRP or what have you. That's fine. We do that. But also maybe somebody needs to pay their bills, and maybe they need to pay their bills in euros or GBP or whatever. And so we make that happen. But that's a really high level explanation of the sort of the piece of the puzzle that we play. So that kind of content provider payout mechanism. But I'll have Alex, because he was actually working on the actual integration to speak to it a little bit.
Yeah. So we worked really closely with the Coil team. They're really, really smart guys, very helpful, and they have a really good understanding of Interledger naturally. Mm-hmm. They're associated pretty closely with the Interledger project.
Yeah.
The thing that made this project so interesting from a technical perspective and non-trivial is that it's not like where people may lump Interledger in with other cryptocurrencies and all the burgeoning blockchain technologies. Interledger is not a simple, it's not a ledger in and of itself, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. Those are blockchain ledger type projects where you can just run a node and have access to all the features that that network provides you with as implemented by that piece of software that we call a node. Interledger is a protocol, the Interledger protocol. So what you need to do is go look at the various implementations for software that read the protocol and implemented the necessary connecting pieces. And you either need to use that software, run it, and then connect up to the network at large, effectively running your own node, much like you would if you just downloaded the Bitcoin software and run it yourself. But in our case, the technologies are a little bit newer. The protocol is a little more complex in that it is more than one ledger. It's the interledger protocol. Mm-hmm. You're connecting to many different networks. So it is by its very nature a little more complex. So that's where working with the Coil team was so valuable and so important, because we were able to get some really high quality assistance, and I think we developed some really high quality software to interact with the Interledger network at large, and now we have the opportunity to kind of serve as a major hub for what I expect will become a really major payment processing network.
So,
Alex, can you describe a little bit? Can you describe a little bit about, because I think the one thing that's really unique about Coil and Interledger and the experience is that as the user is viewing the content, the money is flowing in micropayments real time, which is kind of crazy and kind of a cool experience, right? So you're actually seeing as a content provider, you can go on, if you chose Uphold as an example to where you want to receive your payments, you can go to Uphold, and as somebody's viewing your content on your website, you actually are seeing that the money is getting deposited real time into your Uphold account, which is pretty cool. If just from a payments experience standpoint, it was kind of mind blowing when these guys, developed it.
Yeah, and it kind of works in both ends, because you as a consumer of content, the reason you want to engage with Coil is because you want to reward the people who are producing the content you have. So with Coil, you download the browser extension, and you can see a little notification in the corner that says you're paying micropayments, very, very small amounts of money to this content provider. And so roughly the way that's working is the Chrome plugin or browser extension is telling Coil, hey, this person is viewing this content, and you as a subscriber to Coil then have funds moved via the Interledger network from Coil on behalf of the user to Uphold. And then from there, we're receiving a stream of many, what they call payment packets in the Interledger network. Very, very small amounts of money. And we just have on our transaction screen, you can see the flow of funds second by second ticking up. We track them over time as they come in live. And then after an hour, we will settle those funds directly into your account, at which point you have already turned them into whatever currency you want. So it's pretty fun to see.
I have to set that up because I have Coil enabled on my YouTube channel as well as my website, and I've historically, or I should say right now, have them filtering into the XRP Tip Bot fund where I would withdraw, but I'm definitely going to put it into Uphold because I'll have it into the exchange in a much more easier to use and navigate environment. So I know primarily right now Coil leverages XRP as the settlement or fund, so to speak. So can you talk a bit about that? As far as I apologize if I'm not well versed in this, but is there other forms of funds that maybe the Coil team told you about, or is it just primarily XRP at this point?
Well, from an Interledger perspective, Interledger is capable of transmitting what are effectively invoices or IOUs for any currency. Now, we have an agreement with Coil that says we're going to use Ripple, but we're not bound by that by any technological means, and that's where the benefit of Uphold is, because we already have it's our bread and butter to turn one type of currency into another.
Sure.
So from an end user's perspective, as a content creator goes to look at their Uphold account, they see the funds come in. They have already designated that they would like to receive funds from Coil in USD or in Euro or in Bitcoin.
Wow.
And they see their balances increasing in that currency.
That's cool. I love that. So I could essentially say whatever comes through, if it's XRP or whatever, I want it in Bitcoin. I want it USD or more XRP.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Great job, guys. I need to set that up.
Gold, for that matter. You can have it convert into gold. And a lot of people are doing that right now.
I'm a Palladium fan.
Palladium.
Now, can you change that over time? Let's say the next 6 months, I want Bitcoin, and then after that, maybe I'll just change back to XRP. Can I switch it at any time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, very cool. I love that. I want to segue into the XRP Tip Bot because there was news that you guys also integrated XRP Tip Bot, which, as I mentioned, I was leveraging it on Twitter and with Coil and using that as my wallet, so to speak, and then transferring it out. But you guys are now one of the designated wallets that my tips can go into, correct?
That's right. I can talk a little bit. It was kind of just the timing was crazy because we actually had worked on this Coil piece for quite some time. And then just we had spoken to Whites in the past about basically taking XRP Tip Bot and maybe giving the XRP Tip Bot users more choice by allowing them to connect their Uphold wallet to XRP Tip Bot, so you could receive a tip, let's say an XRP, but then maybe you could cash it out in euros in your bank account if you wanted to do that. We talked about it, and we probably would have gotten there, but we weren't done by any means. We were just in conversations about it. And then, and I won't, speak for Weiss. He did a really good blog that was really descriptive about the situation he was in. But, long story short, he's in the Netherlands. There was some change to regulations in the Netherlands, and it basically was a huge question mark in terms of what he was even going to have to pay to be regulated. So, he was looking for a way to not have to do that. And one of the reasons why, people or businesses connect with Uphold is because we are regulated, right? So if you have that connection and you're actually, the money flow is happening through Uphold and we're effectively the custodian of it, then it is regulated. And so, anyhow, long story short, he contacted us, must have been like 2 weeks ago or something, and we're on different time zones. And it was like, all right, yeah, let's get on the phone and figure this out. And we just, we basically worked together. I mean, and most of the heavy lifting was on his side in terms of the development. I think he pulled an all-nighter, and but it's done and it works. And so we're happy to be working with XRP Tip Bot.
Very cool. So pretty straightforward. Someone tips you on Twitter, or depends if that gets expanded to other social networks and so forth. My XRP would just simply go to my Uphold wallet. And is it real time, or is there any type of delay?
Well, it's real time. I mean, I think what step one is if you've been using XRP Tip Bot, you now have to connect an Uphold account, or get an Uphold account if you don't have one, or if you do have one, just connect your existing Uphold account. And it's through OAuth, which you've probably experienced a gazillion times. It's basically like, connect your Uphold account, put in your username and password, and then that's basically connecting to their application. So once you do that, then then it's really, I think, effectively it's almost like a wallet to wallet transfer, to do a tip through Uphold.
Very cool. Quick question, because I know it applied to Coil, but I'm just asking, would it be the same process where I could opt to have that XRP switched over to Bitcoin, kind of what you're doing with Coil, if I wanted to, or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. So one of the things you get in addition to just the in this case the emergency need was the custody of the funds, whether it was XRP or whatever, had to be regulated. And so that's where we came in. And so, now the funds are basically within our custody and regulated and so forth. But absolutely, it also gives you, and this was the original reason why we were talking to Whites, is that you can then convert it anything to anything, right? So you can go from XRP into dollars, euros, crypto, gold, whatever.
Got it. Very cool. I love it. That's making it so easy for folks to, like, what you guys provide, the service, and going between different currencies as needed. Very cool. There was a question that came up because Weiss is also the founder of XUMM, the payment app. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, are you guys going to be doing anything in regards to that?
So nothing official yet, but yeah, absolutely. We were talking to him about support there, and what the integration is exactly, I think still needs to be worked out. But I think that same concept of hey, we already have all of these different cryptocurrencies, fiat currencies, so just basically when we do an integration with a company like that, we're just giving the end user kind of more choice. Or we're solving some regulatory problem, or we're giving them access to one of our bank rails or what have you, so people can more easily deposit funds or withdraw funds in euro, as an example. So I think more to come on that, but he seems to work pretty fast. So still pretty amazed that he was able to turn around, the whole integration so quickly.
Awesome. He turned around a video he threw on Twitter. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. Really great stuff. There was a question that came through. If you can answer this or not. Are you working with Ripple, the company itself, on any other initiatives, anything related to XRP aside from Coil and the XRP Tip Bot?
Yes. I mean, there's definitely what's called Xpring or something that, they have a few different initiatives that I think we're working with them on. I'm a little less sure exactly, or can't speak to the specifics, but we do have a good relationship with the company Ripple, and then they have a sort of a subset of them that are working on I think it's called Xpring or is this Xpring Labs?
Spring, I think they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And there was a question that came through. Are you planning to list any new cryptos, tokens, digital assets, etc.?
We are, yeah. So there's and I don't want to, be the spoiler alert, because I'm sure there's like marketing behind it or what have you. But just to describe kind of what we do is we're always looking for digital assets that we think are really promoting a real world use case for payments.
Sure.
So that's like number one. And those types of things kind of projects come through me and my team, because, we think what's so important about these things like Coil and you have Brave, and these are examples of businesses that are actually promoting the use of cryptocurrencies to really do something, right? Which sounds so ridiculous. Like, of course, isn't that what they all do? But no, that's not. I mean, so there's you can really, on your hand list the projects that have, many millions of users and are actually doing, many millions of dollars of real funds movement versus others that, talk about it or, have it's just early. It is early days, so it's not there's nothing wrong there. It's just that the projects we want to be a part of are the ones that we really believe are going to blossom and have many millions of users and lots of transactions and so forth. And then we're happy to just play that one role as the bridge between kind of the new crypto economy and payments, old payments, if you will.
Absolutely. There's also a commonly asked question. I see it a lot, and I know you guys have addressed it a few times, but just for the sake of maybe folks who are new to the market, but they're wondering how come the volume data from Uphold is not represented on CoinMarketCap or Live CoinWatch. Now, I know you alluded to this, that you're not a traditional crypto exchange, but maybe you can shed some more light on that.
Sure. So the answer is it is there. The thing is that it's not there under Uphold because Uphold is not an exchange, right? So we're a wallet, and what the real value that we're providing is that sort of ease of use, easy transaction, instant and transaction between one digital asset and another. Whereas an exchange, obviously, it's more of a trading type of experience where you go in and you place an order and then you wait for the order to get filled, et cetera, et cetera. You can't really run a payments ecosystem off of a system that's like that, where there's lag time and uncertainty around, what is the price. So, the short answer is we ourselves are, we have a master reserve. If you go to uphold.com, you go to our transparency page, it's really cool because you can actually see all of our digital assets in real time. And you can see, obligations, member obligations versus what we're holding. And we're always holding more than the members' obligations, which is really cool and important, especially in light of the fact that banks don't do that. They're fractional reserves, and and if they have $100 of obligations, they've only got $10 in the bank, and they God knows what they've done with the other $90. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you're guys.
I lost some train of thoughts. I really just.
Yeah, because you're certainly, I think folks, because just on its face, they sometimes, Uphold's a crypto exchange, but you're not a traditional.
Okay, so to nail the answer to the question is, so we ourselves are balancing that reserve, and in some cases, we're having to go make wholesale purchases through an exchange in order to make sure that our obligations and assets are equalized.
Got it.
So if there was a $10 million purchase of Bitcoin, we're then making that transaction on one of our partner liquidity providers.
Got it. So it's kind of an indirect way of the data being on CoinMarketCap. Got it. That makes sense. Guys, really great stuff. I love the Coil and XRP integration, and looking forward to see what else is coming with Weiss and the rest of the folks there, and maybe the XUMM app. So when those updates come about, we'll love to have you back on to talk about it.
Appreciate you taking us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.